The storm rolled over the Arizona plains like a wounded beast, its howls echoing against the distant buttes. Lightning split the sky, illuminating the figure of a young Apache girl, no more than 16, running barefoot across the open desert. Her braids were soaked, her clothes torn, and her breath came in sharp, fearful gasps. Behind her, darkness, smoke, and the memory of gunshots. Ahead of her, a single flickering lantern hanging outside a weathered ranch house. She didn't know who lived there. She didn't know if they'd shoot her on sight. All she knew was that it was the only light left in a world suddenly gone black. Inside, Thomas Calder, widower, ex-cavalry scout, and a man tired of fighting ghosts, was just banking the fire when he heard the first desperate knock. A child's knock, a terrified knock. He opened the door cautiously, and froze. The girl stood trembling like a fawn caught in a storm. Her dark eyes glistened with terror, her thin frame shaking violently. "Please," she choked. "Please let me stay with you tonight." Thomas looked past her, expecting riders, trackers, or maybe a war party. But the plains were empty except for rain. "Who's after you?" he asked gently, though his instincts already screamed the answer. "Soldiers," she said, lowering her head. "And hunters." Thomas's jaw clenched. He had worn that same uniform once, long enough to know that the word hunters meant bounty men. The worst kind. "Come in," he said finally, stepping aside. The girl sagged with relief and stumbled over the threshold. He shut the door behind her, bolting it tight. Chapter 1, A House Full of Haunted Silence. The girl wouldn't speak at first. She sat by the fire, knees to her chest, eyes darting to every sound. Thomas didn't push. He'd spent years watching his late wife battle sickness. He recognized trauma when he saw it. After a long while, between the crackles of the fire, she whispered, "My name is Nayland." "Thomas," he replied. "You live here alone?" "Yeah, for a few years now." She nodded, as if loneliness explained everything. "Your family?" he asked softly. She hesitated, then shook her head. "Gone." He didn't ask how. He didn't have to. The West took families like dust takes tracks. Thomas warmed some stew, set a bowl before her, and turned his back to give her dignity. When she finally trusted him enough to eat, he realized how starved she truly was. "Rest," he said. "You're safe here." But Nayland didn't sleep. She sat curled in a blanket, watching the flames. "Why are you helping me?" she finally asked. Thomas looked into the fire as if searching for an answer. "Because someone once helped me too." His voice cracked, surprising even himself. Nayland said nothing, but her eyes softened. Two broken souls, sharing the same quiet fire. Chapter 2, The World Outside. Morning brought sunlight, and trouble. Thomas found tracks in the mud. 4 horses, heavy riders, heading straight toward his land. Bounty hunters. Not soldiers, but worse. Men not bound by rules, only money. He returned to the house, trying not to alarm Nayland. But she saw the tension in his shoulders. "They've found my trail," she whispered. He nodded once. "You could make me leave," she added quietly. "It would save you. White men get punished for helping us." Thomas turned to her sharply. "I'm not turning you out." "But why?" she asked again, shaking her head. "I'm nobody to you. You're a child," he said simply. "And I've buried enough good people. I won't add you to that list." The girl's throat tightened, and she looked away so he wouldn't see her tears. Chapter 3, A Heart Opening Again. Over the next few days, they settled into a fragile rhythm. Nayland helped in the garden, learning how to prune peach trees. She fed the chickens, swept the porch, learned the names of the ranch horses, and the temperament of each. Thomas taught her how to mend fences, ride bareback, and set traps. To his surprise, she was clever, quick, and unafraid of hard work. He found himself talking again, really talking. About his late wife, Mara, whose laughter once filled the same cabin. About the mistakes he made in the cavalry. About the things he wished he'd done differently. Nayland listened with a gentleness far beyond her years. "You loved her very much," she said one evening. "Yes," he murmured. "Still do." Nayland poked the fire thoughtfully. "My mother used to say that love is a fire that never fades. Even when the person is gone, the warmth stays." Thomas swallowed hard. "Smart woman," he whispered. "Kind," Nayland said, smiling sadly. "And brave." Her smile faded, replaced by a distant ache. Thomas sensed the weight she carried, and the story she wasn't ready to tell. "Not yet." Chapter 4, The Hunters Come. It happened at dusk. Thomas and Nayland were tending to the horses when the sound of hooves thundered across the plains. 4 riders approached, dust-coated, armed, and wearing expressions that hinted they were familiar with killing. The leader, a scarred ex-tracker named Briggs, dismounted slowly. "Calder," he drawled. "Heard you were keeping company out here." Thomas stepped forward, hand resting near his holster. "Just me," he lied. Briggs smirked. "Funny thing. Apache girl went missing a week ago. Word is she's worth a fine reward." Thomas didn't move. "You're trespassing. And you're hiding property." "She's not property." Briggs's eyes flicked toward the barn. "We'll just have a look around." "No," Thomas said firmly. Briggs's smile thinned. "You forget, Calder, I know your past. You were a tracker. A damn good one. You know how this works." Thomas tensed. Every instinct screamed that violence was coming. "Step aside," Briggs growled. Thomas didn't. The tension snapped. A gun was drawn. A shout. A spark. A shot fired into the dirt. Nayland appeared then, stepping from the barn, trembling but defiant. "Stop." Briggs grinned triumphantly. "There she is." Thomas cursed under his breath. Nayland stepped closer to him, voice shaking but strong. "Please," she said to the men. "Just leave. I've caused enough harm." Thomas turned sharply. "Don't say that." Briggs laughed cruelly. "Girl thinks she's the problem. Ain't that something?" He motioned to his men. "Grab her." But before they could move, Nayland shouted, "My village. That's what you want to know, isn't it? I saw the men who burned it. I saw their faces. They want me dead because I lived." Briggs froze, momentarily surprised. And that second was all Thomas needed. He drew his gun with lightning speed. 2 warning shots cracked into the dirt between the hunters' boots. "Mount up," Thomas growled, voice cold as steel. "You're done here." Briggs didn't move for a long moment, then spat in the dirt. "This ain't finished," he hissed. "We'll be back." But he and his men turned and rode off, disappearing into the settling dusk. Thomas lowered his gun slowly, lungs burning with adrenaline. Nayland's knees buckled. He caught her before she fell. "You shouldn't have come out," he whispered. "You shouldn't have risked your life for me," she whispered back. But neither let go. Chapter 5, The Truth at Last. That night, with the hunters gone but the threat lingering like smoke on the horizon, Nayland finally told him the truth. Her village hadn't been attacked by soldiers. It had been wiped out by a group of renegade bounty men, Briggs's men, who had once traded with her tribe but later betrayed them for government payout. They expected no survivors. But Nayland survived, and they wanted to fix that mistake. As Thomas listened, something cold ignited inside him. "I won't let them take you," he said. But Nayland shook her head. "You can't protect me forever." "No," he agreed. "But I can help you build a life where you don't have to keep running." Her eyes widened at the offer she hadn't dared hope for. "You would do that, for me?" Thomas nodded. "For you. And for the family I lost." Chapter 6, The Final Stand. Briggs returned at dawn 3 days later. But this time, Thomas was ready. The rancher had fortified the property, hidden Nayland safely in the canyon behind the house, and prepared traps that used every skill he once swore he'd never use again. The fight was fierce. Gunshots echoed across the plains. Dust clouds erupted, and in the end, Briggs stood wounded, cornered, and defeated. Thomas aimed his pistol but didn't fire. "Leave," he ordered. "If you ever come near her again, you won't get a second chance." Briggs staggered away, hatred burning in his eyes, but fear burning deeper. And that fear saved Nayland's life. Chapter 7, A New Beginning. Weeks passed. The danger faded. The peach trees bloomed again. And a once lonely ranch house became a place of laughter, soft, healing laughter. One morning, Nayland stood on the porch, watching the sunrise paint the plains gold. "Thomas," she said quietly. "Yeah, can I stay?" She hesitated, then added, "Not for one night. For longer. To learn. To build something. To belong somewhere." Thomas felt his throat tighten. "You already do," he said softly. Nayland's eyes filled, but this time with warmth, not fear. "Thank you," she whispered. "For giving me back my life." Thomas placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "No," he said. "You saved mine." Final message. In a land known for cruelty, this story isn't about guns or battles, it's about 2 lost souls who found hope in each other. It's about courage that doesn't come from weapons, but from compassion. And it's about choosing to protect, to heal, and to trust, even when the world says not to. Because sometimes the bravest words in any language are simply, "Please, let me stay." And the kindest answer is, "You're safe here."